Hi, I'm Thurka Gunaratnam. You're watching TX on Thamare, and today Rajeev, the prophecy, is joining me. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
I appreciate you putting forth your time.
No problem. Anytime.
How excited are you to be a well-renowned rising star?
Very excited, but I'm more excited being here doing an interview with the famous Thurka. So.
I'm only famous because Rajeev helped me get there, but no, seriously.
We're here to help each other.
How does it feel to be on the track of a Tamil film, Adi Bhagavan?
I think there's only one word to describe it, and that would be surreal. It's happening, and people are posting and messaging me, and there's a lot of well wishes, and I'm really happy. But to this very second, it's like, did this really happen? I was a kid with a dream, and I've been doing stuff here in Toronto for a few years now, and around last year I just had it was just a big downfall, and I had some personal things going on, and initially it was just a trip for me to just clear my mind, just sometimes all you really need is a vacation. So that's what it initially started off as, and I just said I needed to get out of here, so I went there, and then without even expecting, things just took a turn, and it just started going good from there.
Yeah, so you were telling me earlier that initially when you went to India, you were supposed to be on a soundtrack rapping for the film Tupaki.
Yeah.
And then you said that it didn't really pan out because...
Well, when I went there, after I started meeting people, I just handed my demos out, and calls went through, and I got called into the studio, and I went there, and I didn't know what the project was. They don't really tell you all the time, but it was a blessing meeting Jeyaraj and getting to work with him, and he knew exactly what he wanted. And he said, I want an 8-bar rap verse, and I want it like this, and I want it like this, and this is the lyrical content, and he just explained the scenario, and I was like, cool, and I was more psyched. And I just did my thing, and then he asked me to do some ad libs and stuff, and it was kind of surreal. Like for a second, I didn't even imagine, I couldn't believe that it was happening.
Yeah.
But it had happened, and then the first day we did the composing, and then I wrote the lyrics, and then I think he was in a rush, he had to go somewhere, so he said, "Can you come tomorrow?" The next day, and I was like, "Sure, okay." And then I was in a doubt. I was like, he didn't want to record today, so does that mean he doesn't want it? But my friends who are in the industry, they're up and coming, they were like, you know what, like these guys, they don't waste time with nobody. Like, an hour to them is big. So if he's calling you a second day, then he's definitely interested. So don't worry about it. It's like, all right, cool. When I went home that night, I didn't even sleep because I was like, I have to perfect this. It was just 8 bars. Like when I write a song, it could go to 32 to 45, like it just climbs. But for that 8 bar, I just sat there all night.
You were at the tea shop writing that, right?
No, I was in my room.
Okay.
I was in a guest house, yeah. And I just sat there, and I just started, because I had a recording of the tune that he had. He had, da-da-da-da-da. So I was listening to that, and I was trying to match every syllable to what he was saying. And I did it. And then the next day I went, and then I recorded it, and he was happy. And basically I left, and then one of my friends was like, one of my friends is good friends with his engineer, and he was like, "Yo, do you know what you just did?" And I was like, "I have no idea." And he's like, "You just sang for Tupaki, like Vijay's movie." And I was like, "No way."
Yeah.
Because that's like right off the bat, that's like home run.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh man, that's crazy." And yeah, that was the first track, yeah.
Yeah. But then you were saying that you did some singing and some rapping, and only the singing ended up on it.
Yeah, so back to that. Well, when I left the studio, I had an 8-bar verse, and I had some ad-libs and stuff like that all over the track. And when the final track came out, my verse was not in it. I really don't know what happened, but what I do know from my experience there is there's a lot of people that have their input in it. And it doesn't always work in the director's favor or the producer's favor. It ultimately, whatever suits the movie or whatever fits the scene is what happens. And they make decisions like that all the time. I mean, they'll waste their time shooting 2 months with a hero or a heroine, and then boom, it's gone just because it doesn't sit. So
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed because at the end of the day, it was an experience, and I know how hard it is, and I know how hard people in India, like musicians and lyricists and actors, they work just to meet them.
And it was your first like big break.
Yeah.
It wasn't even your big break. It was like the first opportunity you had when you got to India.
First real experience,
Which
and
probably like most people can never achieve.
exactly. And with Jeyaraj, like
that's a pretty big deal.
He's an amazing person, so a musician. So I wasn't disappointed. My name is still on the track, and they have some ad libs and stuff on it. So to me, it was a blessing anyway. So. I wasn't too disappointed, but I know there's a lot of people that were asking me the question, so I guess maybe this should answer.
Yeah. How does it feel to be an influence to young Tamils and older Tamils in Canada and just worldwide?
It's a good feeling because growing up, I didn't really have that. I mean, I had my uncle and certain people in my life, like my mom and stuff, but in terms of just the community-wise or artist-wise, I can't say I had that.
Yeah.
So for me to even be at that level where kids actually look at me as an inspiration or look up to me, I mean, it's a blessing, and I'm glad I could do that because more than the money or more than the fame, I think the biggest reward is making somebody's day or giving somebody hope. I mean, because that's the most important thing. So for me to be able to give somebody hope, I think I'm really happy.
Do you plan on making Western music, or are you continuing to kind of do the South Asian Western mix?
To be honest, I don't like the direction the full Western is heading. Not to say I don't enjoy making it, like I do, but I feel like when I do fuse the Western and the Indian together, it's more of a challenge. Because for the Western thing, you know, it's just a catchy beat, a catchy hook, and it just goes that way. But when I do work on like, you know, an Indian fusion, I feel like you're more challenged musically. And I've always been into that. Like I like to hear chords, and I like to hear, you know, chord progressions and changes in music. And so because of that, I'd probably do a little bit of both. I did work on an all hip hop album. It's called KLM. It's supposed to come out in August, but this was a time a lot of things were happening and I left the country. So I'm still designing the album art. I'm trying to do something different, and it's kind of like an appreciation to everyone that's been supporting me. So I'm gonna be giving it out for free.
Nice.
Online.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope you enjoy it. But aside from that, yeah, I'm working on a lot of other stuff, so we'll just see where it goes.
Cool. Well, I mean, I wish you all the success everyone at Dhamra does, including me, since this is my #1 fan apparently. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Really appreciate that you could be here. And for TX, this is Thurka Gunaratnam. Until next time, peace.
I ain't never gonna look for you. Don't you ever come look for me. Even if you think you found another, he gon' end up leaving you. Cause what we had is all I knew. I gave my heart all up to you, but you played with it, quit changing it. So now I'm